Hey guys, Dr. Justin Marcagiani here. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 functional medicine principles that we can use to prevent and or treat wrinkles naturally from a root cause perspective. Again, if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe. I'd love to see your comments down below. Appreciate it. All right, guys, let's dive in. So wrinkles, right? We have keratin. We have the stratum corneum, which is the first layer of skin. We have this lipid bilayer that traps moisture in, and we have to make sure we have healthy skin health, healthy raw material. We're going to go into the 5 principles and 5 things we have to work on to make sure our skin is healthy to either reverse, prevent, or treat wrinkle issues. So first thing is hydration. Now, hydration isn't just drinking enough water. It's also fat plus electrolytes, right? So true hydration, right? Drinking enough water, about half your body weight in ounces or so is a pretty good rule of thumb. And then making sure, you drink enough so your urine's like maybe a light pale yellow is a pretty good rule of thumb. We're going to add in electrolytes. We're going to be adding in sodium chloride, so a really good high quality sea salt. There's a couple on the market that are really good. I like Redmond's Real Salt, Redmond's, Celtic, Himalayan are really good brands. And then again, we're going to make sure we have sodium and potassium in there. Potassium is usually one that's not going to be in real salt enough, or even magnesium. So making sure there's enough electrolytes, right? Water is important, but you can get a bunch of filtered water that's devoid of electrolytes. Also good fats. So the fats that we're going to be consuming are going to be inside of our body, whether it's grass-fed beef, whether it's coconut oil, fish oil, whether it's our plant-based fats that are going to be single source and cold pressed and organic. Think avocado oil, think olive oil, think on your salad dressing or your steamed veggies. Grass-fed butter is wonderful. These are going to be important fats that build your healthy lipid bilayer. Also, we want to make sure we add fats on our skin to build that lipid bilayer of the skin as well. So like I mentioned here, practical tips, we're going to add a pinch of sea salt, potassium, omega-3s. I'm a big fan of emu oil. Emu oil is used at some of the biggest hospitals for burn victims, right? Level 3, grade 3 burns, very helpful, very soothing, very healing. I love emu oil. All right, very good. So not too expensive either. So you can topically apply that on your skin once a day, maybe twice a day. I'm a big fan of using a good cleanser. You can use a gentle cleanser. If your lipid bilayer is really depleted, you may want to use a very gentle cleanser, like a Vanicream, a gentle cleanser that has ceramides in there, that has hyaluronic acid in there, that's gentle. That's helpful. And or just adding in the emu oil can be very helpful too. So doing the emu oil is wonderful too. And again, I'm a big fan of a cleanser like a sulfur soap. Sulfur soap is great. It comes from volcanic ash. It's been around forever, right? It's been around for 100 plus years. Now, we just got to be careful. It can be drying on the skin, so you don't want to overly dry. I apologize, my landscaping guys over here getting everything blown out. Give me one sec. Sorry about that. Hey, we're raw, right? We're in the flesh here. All right, so we may want to cut that part, but I'll redo it here for you guys. All right, so again, we want to be adding healthy fats. We may be adding topical fats like an emu oil, like a Vanicream gentle cleanser as a cleanser. We may be using a sulfur soap cleanser. So we have our cleanser is the first thing we do. We want to strip off oils and junk off our skin. We don't want to strip so much where we naturally strip our lipid bilayer off, but we want to strip enough so we cleanse the skin, get dirt, open up our pores. Then we're going to use a really good toner. I'm a big fan of a diluted, gentle witch hazel and aloe-based toner. Wonderful toners are great. Clean out the skin, pH balance the skin, and then we add a really good moisturizer. I'm a big fan of the emu oil. I'm a big fan of, if you need to do it a second time today, maybe even a Vanicream cleanser or a moisturizer, gentle with ceramides in there and hyaluronic acid. That's wonderful. So that's a good way to kind of provide good moisture, and once to twice a day. I mean, if you're a female and you're taking off your makeup at night, you may be cleansing your skin twice a day. If you're cleansing it twice a day, that's where you may want to do a gentle cleanser. If you're only doing your skin once a day, a sulfur soap may be wonderful, may be good, right? And if we have acne, we may be adding in a sulfur soap with a salicylic acid, because that's a really good at exfoliating the pores. All right, so we want to feed your skin, feed it structural proteins. Get proteins at every meal, right? Your skin is made up out of, right, collagen, which is elastin, and keratin, right? So we have to have the raw material building blocks. So if you have, this is where functional medicine comes in. If your digestion's crummy, if you're not eating enough protein, let's say you're a vegan vegetarian, you're eating lots of plant-based proteins. Well, guess what? You get a whole bunch of carbohydrates with it, and they're not that protein dense. For every 10 grams of protein, you're getting 50 grams of carbohydrate. That's typically what you're getting, unless you're doing like a protein powder or you're eating soy, which is not a good thing for your hormones. plus it's a lot of GMO in it. So we want to have good amino acids, right? We want glycine, we want proline, we want hydroxyproline, we want lysine, we want cysteine. Cysteine's great. Like in N-acetylcysteine, it's wonderful. It helps with oxidative stress. It helps with the cross-linking of proteins. Proteins on your skin get cross-linked when there's glycation, when there's oxidative stress. So things like keeping your blood sugar in check, things like N-acetylcysteine are very helpful. Extra vitamin C can be great. Zinc can be great. Copper, right? What's a great way to get copper and zinc? You can get it through seafood. You can get it through grass-fed beef. You can get it through eating organs, either organs supplementally, like in these organ supplements, or you're actually consuming it, added to your grass-fed meat. So collagen is the skin's scaffolding. So this is so important, right? We want to have the raw material. I get 20 to 30 grams of collagen every morning in my coffee. That provides good raw material. We used to get it through eating the skin on animals. We used to get it through soups where we have the knuckles in there, or bone broth. We just don't do that as much. So I think it's really important to make sure we're on top of that. All right, so balancing hormones is really important, especially for women, right? Estrogen and progesterone helps thicken up that collagen. Women tend to age a little bit faster than men on average because this is a stat that I never knew. Women's skin has 50% less collagen in it than men. And I think part of this is a hunter-gatherer type of thing. I think because men were hunting and out in the wild, their skin just naturally evolved to be a little bit thicker because of what they were fighting out there, right? And that's a real thing. And so because of that, women have less collagen in their skin. And so that makes them more prone to oxidation, to aging. That's more prone to the cross-linking of the proteins through glycation. So if you're a female, you got to keep your blood sugar in check. You got to make sure your estrogen and progesterone are optimal so you can build up that collagen in the skin. And you have to make sure that you're dialing in your collagen proteins, all right? So this is where you want to either supplement or you want to be on top of your bone broth. Or if you're going to eat, try to really get the skin on your chicken thighs. Try to really get the good, healthy proteins and or soups that are going to give you that extra collagen. So that's something that I didn't know till a few years ago, but 50% less collagen in women's skin than men. And so we just have to be on top of it. So guys out there, be on top of taking in your collagen. Women, especially as you age, you want to be on top of your progesterone and your estrogen, making sure it's not prematurely dropping or making sure you're not going estrogen dominant. And obviously if we're stressed, cortisol, what does cortisol do? It breaks down protein. So of course it's going to break down that collagen and that skin protein, right? It's going to break down that elastin and keratin. So you want to make sure your stress is in check, emotional, physical, and chemical. All right, so balancing hormones repair. So, okay, we talked about that. So we want to make sure we're on top of sleep. Sleep helps maximize growth hormone input. That's what helps our body heal and recover. And again, we want to keep our cortisol in check so we're not going so catabolic. That's super important out of the gates. Again, estrogen keeps collagen thick and it keeps the skin hydrated, right? So we want to make sure we have enough water, but we also want to make sure the fat brings that water. The fat locks that water in. Progesterone supports the elasticity. So that's why we want to run a Dutch test and see where estrogen and progesterone are. And as someone that runs hundreds of these tests a year on lots of young women between 20 and 50, you would be surprised how low even my younger women are. My 20 and 30-year-olds, their hormones are much more depleted than I've seen over years. And I think that's a combination of stress, poor nutrition, poor diet, maybe hormones in the environment, a lot of toxins in the environment. I think these things all play a role. Okay. Protect the skin barrier, right? So the outer skin layer, that's the stratum corneum. This works like the brick in the mortar. The cells are the bricks and the fat is the mortar, right? So this is where we want to have healthy fats in our diet because the fats are the mortar, right? And the cells are the bricks. That's going to be the proteins. That's going to be the healthy hydration and electrolytes. We talked about the soaps, so we want to be careful of that. That's where I like a good, healthy sulfur soap. Just don't over dry it, maybe a few seconds. We want to use a gentle cleanser on there, right? These are all really good things. Put some hyaluronic acid. We want to avoid a lot of the alcohol-based toners. I'll put the things that I personally use in my routine down below. All right, and then so avoid the, I like witch hazel-based toner that's alcohol-free, and that's going to have aloe in it as well, so it's very gentle, right? Healthy barrier locks the moisture in. So good hydration, right? Stratum corneum's protein. The mortar, that's the fat. So protein and fat, and then make sure you hydrate on top of that. Stimulating collagen and fighting oxidative stress. I talked about the cross-linking of proteins earlier, right? That's the seed oils. That's the excess sugar. That's the excess insulin, right? They stiffen the collagen through glycation. That's where these proteins start to cross-link, right? And so things that we can do to stimulate that, vitamin C, right? Vitamin A, either through cod liver oil, through grass-fed beef, or through retinol. Topical retinols, like a 2.5% retinol, can be very, very helpful. Red light therapy can be helpful too. I got my laser here. I got a skin or collagen setting here. And this is a red and infrared light. And I can easily hit it. You know, I would wear my glasses if I need to here. I got my green glasses that block it. Where did I put them? They're somewhere on my desk here. But either way, if you're going around your eye, I won't do it here now, but you would have your glasses on if you're going to get close, all right? But if not, you can just go like this around any areas that are far enough away. But once you get close to the eyes, you want glasses, or you even want like tanning bed goggles that go over the eyes. So just be mindful of that. But let's say I wanted to just do my jawline underneath here. This is infrared right now. I could safely do that. Once I get close to my eyes, around my nose, then I would be a little bit more careful. All right, so I'm a big fan of NAC. NAC is great. It's going to help with glutathione. It's a natural blood thinner. It has some natural antiviral qualities. It helps with breathing, so I like that. CoQ10, great. Polyphenols, think your blueberries, think your grapes. Think any of your healthy, lower sugar fruits are going to be great. Again, collagen proteins, bone broth is going to be your natural way. Red lights are going to be great. I showed you red light right there. And again, vitamin C is great. Peptides are really cool. I'm a big fan of peptides. I've been doing more for like some of the premature graying. I've been doing right here. I've been doing this product called Aura, the root. And there's some like dark, I think Grayverse and some palmital peptides there. And I also do at night a GHKU, so a copper peptide. I do a topical one, and I also have a copper peptide in a liposomal form that I do right here. Because most guys, they like graying starts on guys typically at the side here and right at the chin. And so right here in the chin, so I'm doing a little bit of copper peptides on my skin at night, and then right here in this part of my hair. And so you can do that because that's naturally working on the hydrogen peroxide and the oxidative stress that's starting down at the follicle. And whatever you do on the scalp, any hair you see on top of your head is going to take 3 to 4 months to emanate from growth to actually being visible. And so you got to just be mindful of that. Anything you do, you got to really commit 4 to 6 months to it. Also, we can add in some microneedling. Microneedling is great. Right around on the scalp, probably 1 to 1.5 millimeters. Just generally hit that area. You can just gently, what I do is I just pretend like I'm combing it. So I would just kind of go through my hair and just comb with my pen. I have videos on this, and I just keep it so it's perpendicular to my scalp and just go right through it. And you can recycle those microneedling heads. I use a Dr. Penn M8, which works great. Just make sure you get the real professional microneedling heads. And if you save them once or twice, it's okay. Just make sure you clean them in alcohol or peroxide. But if you're on the fence, just replace them each time to be safe. But once a week on that's great. Just take 5 or 10 minutes in your routine to help. But that can be great for your hair. But you can also do that around your eyes. So you can either just go like, you can do little tic-tac-toe, like 3 lines. Or you can just do small little concentric circles like this, just small little circles. And again, if you're in doubt, you can just go find a really good esthetician in your area and have them walk you through it. But there's some really good videos online, but just do small little circles like this. Just very, very gentle. Again, do it after you shower. Put hyaluronic acid on there first. No vitamin C, nothing else, because you can develop a inflammatory histamine kind of reaction. So that's a real thing. So avoid the seed oils too, because seed oils are prone to oxidation because they're omega-6. The excess double bonds in it makes it more prone to oxidation. Plus, the processing of getting omega-6 fats tends to damage the fat through the hexane and the bleaching and all the pressure. So not the best. Choose healthy fats. And again, a zinc-based sunscreen is great. The problem with a lot of people using sunscreens back 10, 20, even 30 years ago, they only blocked UVB. UVB is the type of ultraviolet light that burns, but it did not block A. And so A would have a free pass in there, and it would damage your collagen like crazy. And so you could avoid the burn, but then you would still have the damage. Because normally natural light comes in, the burn tells you when to stop. And so when the burn starts to set in, you would also stop the A at the same time. Now, or I should say years ago, they had the oxybenzene and these different oxymethoxycinnamate, these different like chemical absorbing sunscreens, and it would block more of the B, but let in the A. And so that's a problem because then you could still create a lot of collagen damage. And so now some of the better sunscreens are going to be like more zinc based, and they're going to have healthier fats and bioflavonoids in there that are going to physically block. So one is chemically neutralize, lots of problems there. One is physically block. Think of it as like putting a mirror up to the sun. So that's kind of be your more zinc-based sunscreens, maybe even a light titanium dioxide sunscreen. And again, you can use cosmetic skin database. I'm not a fan of using sunscreens just for the sake of using them. Only use them if you're going to be in an area where you're going to be getting more sun than your minimal erythemal dose. So your minimal erythemal dose is just enough to get pink, but not to burn at all. That's fine, all right? And you can use like your app called D-Minder, set your skin tone, figure out kind of the latitude in the year, and it'll kind of tell you how much time you need. And you build up a solar callus, but you do not want to be burning at all, okay? I recommend using emu oil as well as just a way to set the day. Emu oil is a natural SPF of 8, which means it blocks about 86% of UV rays, which is nice. So it does give you a good baseline of protection. It's still going to allow sun to come through. Now, again, when you're getting sunlight in the morning's best because it's going to be very low UV, from let's say 7:30 to 9, it's going to be very low UV, under UV probably 3 index-wise, and you're going to get a lot of red light. So that's also very good for the skin and building up collagen. So red light, you can do it naturally in the early morning, or you can get it from a red light in your house. So again, collagen repair and equals anti-aging, quality sleep, right? That's what starts the regeneration process. So hope this helps you. So what I recommend is get a good skincare routine. Good fats on your skin once or twice a day. Have a good sunscreen that you can go to if you're going to be out there too long. I like Vanicream, Ulta MD makes a pure one. Babo makes a good one. Think Baby makes a good one. Badger makes a good one. My Michelle makes a good one. There's about 7 or 8 that are really good ingredients, really clean, really good fats that are also non-comedogenic. They won't clog your pores, and they aren't going to have like a lot of bad fats in them. So just take a look at those. Are some really good brands I recommend. Make sure you cleanse your skin. Don't overly dry it. Whatever you're doing to cleanse, make sure you're not overly dry. Good toner, clean your pores out, good moisturizer. And then you have some other things that you can do. You can do your microneedling. You can do your copper peptides on the skin. You can do red light, right? We can do natural red light outside, and just don't burn. So a lot of good things. Dial in your carbohydrate, dial in your insulin so you're not cross-linking proteins, creating glycation, which is going to increase premature aging. So a lot of little things you can do. Again, if you want to dive in, let's say you have issues with your gut, you're not breaking down your proteins, or you have issues with estrogen dominance with your hormones, or you're going perimenopausal or menopausal, you're going to want to dive in deeper and look more under the hood and see what else you can do with your hormones in your gut, because that may be another next step. But I gave you a lot of things to look at now. Also, cortisol can be a big role because that kind of breaks down proteins. There's a lot of things we can look at deeper, a lot of first-line things that make sense. I'll have some links up here in the next few days down below of my favorite products so you guys can take a peek at that and see what I'm looking at. All right, guys, have an awesome day. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up and let me know your comments down below. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.